You've been paying for honey your whole life. Every single jar. Every single drop. And nobody ever told you that right outside your door, maybe already growing wild in a ditch, or sitting forgotten in a corner of your yard, there's a plant that produces something almost identical. Thick. Golden. Sweet. A liquid that old farmers used to call liquid gold, that kept families fed through the hardest winters, that cost absolutely nothing to make and never, ever runs out. I'm going to show you exactly what that plant is, how to grow it, how to harvest it, and how to turn it into something so good your family won't believe it came from your backyard. And by the end of this video, you're going to look at your garden, or your empty porch, completely differently. Stay with me. Because this is the kind of thing that changes how you think about food forever. Most people have never heard of sugarcane honey. Not the processed stuff. Not the refined syrup from the grocery store shelf. I'm talking about raw, unprocessed, natural cane syrup. The kind that Appalachian families made by hand for generations, the kind that native farmers in the Southeast knew as one of the most valuable crops a family could grow, the kind that Depression-era homesteaders kept in clay jars buried under the floorboards because it was worth more than almost anything else they had. This is old knowledge. This is the real thing. And it got buried under 100 years of supermarkets and plastic bottles and people forgetting how to feed themselves. Here's what nobody tells you about sugarcane. It's not hard to grow. It's not expensive. It doesn't need perfect soil, doesn't need fancy fertilizer, doesn't need a single tool you don't already own. What it needs is warmth, a little water, and patience. That's it. If you live anywhere in USDA zones 8 through 11, Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, Texas, the Carolinas, even parts of California, you can grow sugarcane in your own backyard right now. And if you're further north, don't go anywhere, because I have a solution for you too. A different plant. Same result. Same golden liquid. I'll get to that in a few minutes. Let's start from the very beginning. Sugarcane is a grass. A giant grass. And like most grasses, it grows from cuttings, not seeds. You don't need a nursery. You don't need to order anything online. You just need one single stalk, one piece of sugarcane from a farmer's market, a Latin grocery store, or even a neighbor's yard, and that one piece will multiply into dozens of plants over a single season. Each node on that stalk, every little joint you can see running up the side, is a new plant waiting to happen. You cut the stalk into sections, each one with at least 2 nodes, lay them down in a shallow trench about 3 inches deep, cover them with soil, water them once, and then you wait. Within 2 to 3 weeks, green shoots push up through the ground. And from that moment, the plant almost takes care of itself. Sugarcane is one of the most vigorous plants in the world. It wants to grow. It's been growing in the Americas for thousands of years without any human help whatsoever. Your job is just not to get in its way. By midsummer, July, August, into September, your canes will be taller than you are. Some will be taller than your house. And inside those thick, fibrous stalks is where the magic lives. Pure, unprocessed sugar juice. Natural glucose and fructose and sucrose all together, exactly the way nature made it, without a single factory involved. Now here's where it gets interesting. Here's where most people stop because they think they need expensive equipment. They've seen the machines at county fairs, the old iron rollers that crush the cane and squeeze out the juice. And yes, that's one way to do it. But it's not the only way. And it's definitely not the old way. What the old farmers of the Mississippi Delta actually did, what the Gullah Geechee people of coastal Georgia and South Carolina knew for centuries, was simpler than any machine. You take a heavy mallet, a rolling pin, even a smooth river rock. You lay the cane on a hard surface and you crush it. You press it. You work it. The juice runs out slowly, golden and fragrant, slightly sweet even in the air around it. You collect that juice in a wide clay pot or a cast iron pan, and then you do the one thing that transforms everything. You cook it slow. This is the secret that the old-timers never wrote down because they never thought anyone would forget it. Low heat. Patient hands. You bring that juice to a gentle simmer, not a boil, never a full boil or it crystallizes too fast, and you stir. You stir and you watch. Over the course of an hour, maybe 2, the liquid changes. It darkens. It thickens. The smell that fills your kitchen is something between caramel and molasses and something else entirely, something older, something you recognize even if you've never smelled it before. Your body knows the smell. Your ancestors made this smell in kitchens that no longer exist, in fields that are now parking lots and subdivisions, and something in your cells remembers it. When the syrup coats the back of a wooden spoon and drips off in a slow, heavy ribbon, not watery, not solid, exactly in between, it's done. You pull it off the heat. You let it cool. And what you have in that pot is something that has no accurate name in a modern grocery store. Cane honey. Liquid gold. A natural sweetener so complex in flavor, so rich in minerals, so unlike anything that comes in a plastic bear-shaped bottle, that the first time you taste it on a piece of fresh bread you will sit down and feel genuinely, physically angry that nobody ever told you about this before. Now, for those of you in Minnesota, in Ohio, in Pennsylvania, in the northern states where sugarcane simply won't survive the winter, here's what I promised you. Sorghum. Sweet sorghum, specifically. It's a grain crop that was grown all across the American South and Midwest for over a century, drought-resistant, cold-tolerant down to Zone 5, and it produces a syrup through the exact same process that many old farmers considered even better than cane syrup. More complex. More mineral. More alive. Abraham Lincoln's family made sorghum syrup. Laura Ingalls Wilder wrote about Sorghum Harvest Day as one of the most important days of the entire year on the prairie. This is not an exotic crop. This is American food that got forgotten, and you can grow it this season from seeds you can order for less than $5. The process is identical. Crush the stalks. Cook the juice low and slow. Watch it transform. Taste something that no store on earth can sell you. Here is what I need you to understand before you click away. What you just learned is not a recipe. It's not a gardening hack. It's a relationship with your land, with your soil, with your seasons, with the plants that want to feed you if you let them. The families who survived the Great Depression didn't survive because they were lucky. They survived because they knew things. They knew that every plant had a use. They knew that the land always had something to give if you knew how to ask. That knowledge was the most valuable thing they owned. More valuable than money. More valuable than anything a store could sell them. That knowledge almost disappeared. Your grandparents' generation let it go because the supermarket made it seem unnecessary. But the supermarket is not always going to be there. The supply chain is not always going to work. And even if it does, even if the shelves are always full and the prices stay reasonable, there is something irreplaceable about walking out to your own yard, harvesting something you grew with your own hands, and feeding your family with it. Something that no amount of money can buy back once it's gone. So plant the cane. Plant the sorghum. Crush the stalks. Cook the juice. Make the gold. And when you taste it for the first time, that thick, dark, ancient sweetness, leave a comment below and tell me what it tasted like. Tell me if it brought something back. Tell me if you understand now what I mean when I say that this is the kind of knowledge that changes everything. Because every single person who watches this video and tries this and shares it with someone they love is keeping something alive that almost died. And that matters more than the algorithm, more than the views, more than anything else this channel will ever do. If this is the kind of thing you want more of, old knowledge, real food, real skills, the kind of information that used to live in every family and got quietly taken away, subscribe. Hit the bell. And share this with one person who you think still remembers how to pay attention to the earth. Because the earth is still talking. You just have to know how to listen.